YouTube. I'm back. Today we are reacting to a new video by Fresh and Fate featuring the top G himself, Andrew Tate, for the top G. They caught him in Romania over some dumbass human trafficking charges, which he did not commit. I'll vouch for that right now because I know how the media be moved sometimes. Like they're trying to get this boy off the A-words because he's everywhere. He's in Instagram and TikTok. He's over YouTube. He's everywhere. So they're trying to get rid of him by pulling the alcohol on him. So I'm gonna stand by the man until I see some real evidence. I'm gonna stay by the boy. I reserve the right to change my opinions at any point in time. But right now, I've not seen enough evidence for them to actually do what they're doing to this guy, and I'll stand with him all day. So without further ado, before we can start, if you guys could do me the favor of liking, subscribing, and commenting. I'm back to YouTube. This is 2023. We're gonna run the ship to the ground. So without further ado, let's do some reaction. Start from the beginning.
Absolutely, genuinely understand how lonely the majority of men are.
Yeah.
And you need to truly understand, if you're Joe Schmo, average in nearly every way, in Starbucks working, you ain't getting a DM ever. You girls will never be lonely.
Most men will never get DMs. It's you gotta be certain type of man to get a DM your entire life. Like, so most men, no girl's gonna hop in their DMs and try to like link up with them. It's not the way how girls move. Girls prefer the guys to be the one to pursue, and two, most men are deemed unattractive by most women. So it's like you as a guy have to be the one to actually DM a girl. So it's unlikely that unless you're like top, I want to say 10% in looks, you won't get some DMs by females.
As much as you might be unhappy with the possible suitors, you can at least about and flirt if you feel sad. Yeah. There are men out here in the world who have genuine loneliness, and I can prove this statistically. Why do you think it's all the men killing themselves compared to the women?
But could we blame this on lack of communication?
No.
That's dumb. That's a dumb statement. Like one, girls actually care about what a guy think, and two, that we men want to actually talk to girls about how we think. It's a dumb statement.
We're gonna blame this. No. I'm just saying.
I'm just asking. I'm just very curious.
The men.
He's telling you right now.
That's how women can communicate. Like, oh, let me talk about my feelings, and when they do that, they talk about their feelings to a man. The man's natural proclivities to actually help them fix the problem. You can't talk about your issues with a woman and hope that she can fix your problem, because she's not going to fix your problem.
The men with absolutely zero partners, do you know what they try? They certainly try communication. They're trying. You're true. Just ignoring their DM. Trust me, they're trying communication.
That makes sense. They probably did DM you guys and they were left unread. So now you want them to communicate. It's a dumb argument, man.
Yeah.
The reason is that we have to understand we live in a world now, and we've always lived in a world where women have a natural inclination to align themselves with the top tier males. I can prove this to you. You see these chicks, they see a rapper in the club, they want to fuck with the rapper. Do you think they believe that rapper is loyal?
No,
they don't give a fuck. He's the Don. That's the game. It's always been the game. It still is the game. So when we're talking about how it's harder for men than women, we're talking about the vast majority of men. Because you women, because you're all beautiful and you're all smart, most of you only interact with top-tier males. So you're like, well, I have these problems, but he has all these bitches because he's a G. Most men ain't shit. You know that. If you think about it, most men ain't shit.
He ain't lying. I stand behind my dudes, but you guys gotta step up the game, because you guys are all Samson. You are messing up the dating marketplace. You guys are giving these girls free attention and their heads are hella inflated, and the game is all messed up because you guys cannot get it together. Get it together, man.
Go walk down the high street. Tell me how many of them stand a chance with you. Usually fucking zero. Most men are desperately lonely. Desperately.
Yeah.
So you want to sit here and talk about the struggles of life as a woman. There are men out here, the male suicide rate is so many times higher than women for a reason.
Of course.
The life as an average man is brutally depressing. And I'll tell you something. I don't consider myself an average man. I'm a
I couldn't relate. I could not relate to what it means to be an average man. So I mean, I know how life is as a I know I ain't trying to like pat myself on my back. You know, just you can look at the muscles right now. You can tell that I'm no little thing. But yeah, I cannot imagine how life would be if I was a small, scrawny little kid. Which which I was back in high school. But I'm just saying right now, I could not imagine that. Back then too, it kind of did suck. I ain't gonna hold you. It did suck really, very hard.
I'm a very successful man, right? I have a few genetic gifts. I've worked very hard. I have financial, not gifts. I worked for them, right? I've got accolades. I've got everything, right? My life's great. But life as an average man, Joe Schmo, is literally fucking horrible. And I don't think most women understand this, because you know what the biggest problem about being an average dude is?
What?
If you're an average dude and you work...
Just a little side note, look at the girls around them, how they are like, they're very intense and very like, they waiting to every word. Like you can tell the aura around this man. I ain't not trying to dick ride or anything like that. I'm just saying, you gotta be perspective when you see things like this. Like the aura around the girls with them, they just like very intensely when they want to hear what he has to say. And he's matching energy and tone. How usually Andrew Tate likes to scream a lot, but now he's like calmly and like he's almost like whispering in their ears and they're listening calmly. Like what? Just watch what I'm saying. You see what I'm saying.
Working KFC and you ain't shit, and you get a chick. You know what the problem with that is? That means your chick's average dudes. Bam. So now everybody's competition.
Bam.
That motherfucker McDonald's.
Why is everybody competition? Because you would have to stay with your
What if she's
standards.
in love
Can
with you
agree
and you're in
that?
love with her?
Because why would someone go above their standards or less than if they don't deserve that?
I'm going to tell you. When you're a big G, you're hard to replace.
Of course.
But if you're literally Joe Schmo, it's unfortunate, but it's true. You're relatively easy to replace.
But there are women in that. There's women who will take you and fully
complete. Okay, so let me change the paradigm so maybe you understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
Please, my dear, of all the things I am, the last is narrow-minded. Please listen. If you have Joe Schmo and his chick, Joe Schmo gets 0 DMs a year and possibly 1 chick a year who might talk to him. His average ass chick, her inbox is still full.
Bam.
She still has unlimited options. Maybe they ain't great options, but she still has options. And this is the point. This is why men struggle in breakups more than women. How many times have you been with a guy and after the breakup, he's blowing up your phone? Do you know why? Because you can go out to the club the same day and get a new guy. Even though that guy was still a cool dude, he's going to be lonely for months now. That's why he's blowing up your phone. It is harder as a man. It's a harder game as a man from head to toe. It always has been.
Yeah, I see what he's saying. It's like if it's easier to lock down your girl if you have more to offer. Like, if you're just an average guy with the average thing to offer, then most men in general are average. So your competition is like way more abundant than it is if you were like a top G or somebody who's above average. Like, she has to work a little bit harder. She has to bring more to the table for somebody else to come get her from you. But if you're an average guy, or not even that way, if she were to lose you, it would be harder for her to get another guy just like you. So, but if you're an average guy, there's like millions of you around, in average places.
That's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying it shouldn't be. You women are the prize. Fantastic. Good. You're the one who can have the babies. Great thing. But when we're sitting here talking about, it's hard as a chick, it is 1,000 times harder for men. And we're talking about G's of the game. If I were to sit here and send 100 DMs, right? I've got a few followers. I got cars, money all over my page.
Hundreds of thousands of followers.
I got a blue tick, right? I'll still only get 40-50% reply. Okay. Imagine I had 300 followers in a Toyota.
Look at the shorty at the black hair.
You guys don't understand. These guys are operating at 0% reply rate. 0. And it's fucking hard.
And you know what the funny part is, Andrew? It's because they're so oblivious to it because they only see the top tier of men. Like right now, when I asked you, what percentage of men do you think are sexually active? If I didn't tell you it was 20%, you probably would have told me like 80, 90%. You thought all of them were. What I'm trying to tell you is a very small percentage can actually attract and keep women around. There's a reason why guys like Dan Bilzerian, Hugh Hefner, etc., are widely respected by men. The reason why is because it is not easy to attract women. It's extremely difficult. And when I put you as a male, right, and you say, I give guys game. I put you in a male situation. How are you going to get the girl? You really couldn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you were thinking, okay, well, I'm going to leave with my wallet. I'm going to fly this girl out and her friends, and I'm not going to get finessed. And that's what's going to happen if you do that with a girl randomly from Instagram.
And that's not, and I'm going to jump in. I don't want to look like, I'm going to jump in. Myron's completely right. But that's not a bad thing, because you know what the hardest thing to do as a man is? It takes a lot of experience to learn the very, very fine line. You couldn't possibly know because you're a chick.
Yeah.
It's a very, very fine line to learn, right? Because I don't want to look cheap.
Of course.
Well, yeah, it's a very like the whole attraction things, like the way to like court a girl is very, very. It's a very fine line where you gotta always like clear some hurdles, like take her to a date, a nice place, you smell nice, and take it back to your place. Place is clean, it's comfortable. It's a very fine line of trying to set that mood, and when women are very, very fickle, and you can do everything right throughout the whole night. You make one mistake, whether they're not opening the door for her when she get back to the car after dinner, and now she's mad at you, and now you can't go back to her place, or she can go back to your place, and now it's over. It's a very fine line you gotta walk, and it's crazy.
I'm not cheap. I'm rich. It's even worse for me, right? Because I get if I land in Dubai and I tag myself in Dubai,
Okay.
I check my inbox. It's full of chicks from Brazil, Moscow,
You're the
Kiev,
top G,
all
of
these
course.
chicks trying to go to Dubai. So they start liking my pictures, etc.
Mhm.
They want me to go, hey, I'll fly you out to Dubai. That's what they're hoping me to do. They're trying to finesse me, right? Because they know I got the money. Bro, you wouldn't believe it, right? And I know that's a very unusual experience for most men, but it happens to me. But I don't want to get finessed. They just want to get to Dubai in a hotel. They don't want me,
Of course.
right? Now, a lot of men are happy with that trade. A lot of men are the kind of guys who I call them, in my world, I call them customers. A lot of dudes will pay that money just to have a chance of a date with it. If you don't like me for who I am, I ain't flying you fucking
Correct.
nowhere.
Of course.
So
Do you mind
So
if I
that's who I am. So I'm saying it's a very, very fine line, and it's super hard to navigate. I would love, in many ways, for you girls all to become men for a month, and you'd realize it's nearly impossible for most dudes.
Oh God.
Think how many DMs a day you ignore.
Oh God.
Actually, think about it.
No,
You're
I
ignoring
can't.
them all. You're waiting. You probably won't even check his profile.
Oh, I would love to see that. That would love to see that. That'll be a crazy experience where they try to like pick up girls as men. That'd be a crazy experience for them to know how hard it is. Like how you always gotta say the right things, or at least not even the right things, but make it seem that even when you say the wrong things, how you bounce back. Like, how can you be creative? Look, for me, I was always funny in high school. Like, I was always funny in high school.
Yo,
Nah. I
this
disagree.
Or a bunch of followers, maybe.
Yo,
you see a bunch of followers, you'll check his
It
profile.
Just
honestly
at this
depends
point-
on where you are
Yeah, so-
in life.
so think
to be
about this, right?
honest. Yeah.
even our current dating marketplace, what are guys doing? OnlyFans, going to
Guys,
because guess what? They're not getting laid.
oh, bye.
Here's the worst part. Look at dating apps. Who dominates dating apps? Mostly men. But guess what happens? Most men on dating apps y'all are ugly. Or, for example, what do you want to look their way? The point I was saying here is that like most guys don't have sexual access. And the quote here is women who they want, men who they can. So
Okay, guys, that's it. This is a classic episode with the top G. Damn it, they got free the homie. I'm hearing he's doing a bid for 30 days right now. So once he gets out, we can hear more about what's going on with the, why they picked him up, all that stuff, and if it was valid or not. But until then, let's keep praise up for the top G. Make sure that he's home safe and can get things done, because the state of masculinity needs this, because like right now he's talking some real stuff, helping a lot of people. I even seen Nate Ross stepping up his game too. So I mean, he's doing his thing. So guys, I appreciate the love and support. Next time, I want to say deuces. What's my key at? Deuces.